Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the do's and don'ts of sinning. My name is Matthew.
And I'm Joslyn.
And we were just having a little conversation before we started recording about how Joslyn always dates boys and their sisters, without a doubt, always hate her. Like, without a doubt.
I don't know why.
And it's not like she's a bad influence. It's not like she's like a bad person in general.
No.
Like, they have basically no reason.
No, I think part of it is because I used to not be a good person and I used to do like a lot of bad things. Like,
True.
I had like my little drug days and then I was also like a cunt all the time. And so like that's probably why one of them, his old sister, didn't like me.
Right.
Like they were twins or whatever, and that's probably why she didn't like me because of that and like probably stuff that I said and did and whatever. But
Talk louder.
why?
Because you're quiet, I can tell.
Or is it just the audio's fucked up?
I don't know. We can try. So I was correct. She was being a little quiet.
I'm just being a little quiet. I'm
Yeah.
reserved and soft-spoken
Oh my
today.
But, like, why the last couple relationships, why did the sisters hate you?
So the last one, that was just more of like a fling.
Yeah.
His sister hated me because like apparently I said something, like she had this like traumatic life experience when I was like semi-friends with her, semi-not at the time. And she had said that I said something not good about her. And, which I didn't. I mean, I don't remember saying it at all. And, like, what she said that I said was, like, pretty memorable. It was so mean.
Right.
So, like, I 100% don't think that I said that. Could have. Don't know. Don't remember.
Right.
Anyway, so she hated me. And so, whenever him and I were, like, seeing each other, she was always like, fuck that fucking bitch. She's a stupid fucking cunt. I'll never fucking like her. And it's like, that's fine if you don't like me, but just, like, maybe just keep it to yourself.
Right? Like, it's not your life.
No.
And it's like, you could tell your brother or whatever, like, oh, I don't like her. And if he likes you, then it's his business.
Exactly.
Like, it's his, your life. Like, you
and that's how my current is. Because he's, like, got two sisters. One of them I've never met. And then the other one I not hung out with, but I've, like, been around her a couple of times.
Right.
And I have no idea why she doesn't like me. She's followed me on Instagram forever, and when 3-piece suit and I were together, she would like all my Instagram photos of us and stuff, and she would like comment on them all the time, like, you're so pretty, and she's so pretty, and we both love makeup and stuff. And so it's just weird that like when him and I started seeing each other before we made it official, she had like called him and she was like, "You're with fucking Joslyn, she's a fucking star."
Oh my
I was
God.
like, oh
she
my
was
God.
like, I like her, but over there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know. He told her, he was like, well, she makes me happy and I want to be with her. So.
Right. And that's what like a boyfriend's duty is, because it's like, of course you should take your family's like gut feeling into like, into like what you think. But like at the end of the day, like if your sister just hates her and it's just like personal reasons, because like not everyone's gonna like everybody.
Right.
So like it's your, and like that happens a lot with like parents or whatever. Like you'll start dating somebody and the parents won't like them. And it's like, of course you should take that into account, but like not everyone, your parents or whoever isn't going to like every single person you date. So like you shouldn't let that affect it. Right. And you should almost like guard and protect your significant other from the family, because it's like they don't deserve that.
Right. Because like I wouldn't let, the only person that I let my family talk shit about was like my fiance, because he was a piece of shit.
Exactly. Same with my ex.
Yeah, exactly. So like they were like, he's fucking lazy as fuck, and I couldn't even argue with it because it was true.
Right. You're like, fuck yeah.
Like if they talk shit and it's not true, then I'll correct them on it.
Exactly.
But like if they talk shit and it's not true, then I'm like,
time to separate
pack
a bit.
It up, Karen.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know why. And then like when 3-piece suit and I were together, he had two sisters. One of them was pregnant literally at the same time my sister was. They like their kids were born like maybe like a week apart or something. It's crazy. And then his younger sister, she would stare at me all the time.
How younger?
She was like 20 or 21.
Oh, okay.
And I was like 22 or 23.
Okay.
And then he was like, so they were like, him and his younger sister were like maybe 2 or 3 years apart.
Oh, okay.
Because he was like 24.
And she would just side-eye you all the time?
No, like it was like, okay, so you be me. She was just like,
the hell?
yeah.
She would just stare at you in silence?
Yes.
Like, and you get like at the dinner table and
yes.
she would just be like,
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
For no reason.
Or like I'd be talking, like start talking for a minute, and she'd be like this.
She would just be talking and just staring at you blankly with
yeah,
no
with
emotion.
like her mouth slightly open.
Like no emotion.
No emotion.
Interesting.
Just like.
The fuck? That's so weird.
And then I asked him about it. I was like, why does she stare at me? And he was like, it's just a thing she does. Which, okay, speaking on that too, you know how like people are like, she's a fucking cunt and she's the worst friend ever, but that's just how she is.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. Don't make excuses for people's bad character.
Right, exactly. Like
they're like,
it's not just
she
part
has depression and she cries all the time, but that's just how she is.
And it's like, no.
No.
Because it's like,
tell
yeah,
her to work on it.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, that is how she is, but you shouldn't be talking about it in that light.
Exactly, yeah.
People are fucking weird.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting. I've only dated like 2 people in my entire life, but usually like people's like my friends, usually his parents or siblings usually like me. I don't know. It's like my personability, like because I just am friends with like everybody a lot of the times. So whenever like in high school and grade school, like whenever I went over to like a friend's house, their parents would always like me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, it's because I'm an old soul kind of bullshit. But I think I was just like a kiss ass.
Yeah.
Like I would go over to the friend's house and be like, oh my God, Mrs. Johnson, you're so cute.
Your house is so beautiful.
Probably. That was most likely it. But like with my last significant other, his parents really liked me because I wasn't a piece of shit, like probably the things he usually talks about. And I'm a respectable boy and stuff like that. So I think
You're
that's
a respectable young man.
Right. That's probably mostly it. I don't think I've ever had anybody's like siblings or anything ever hate me for no reason.
I don't know.
Everyone just loves me.
Maybe it's because they're like, she's really rude to service workers.
Probably.
You know what's so funny? I was telling my current boyfriend about 3-piece suit and how he used to order for me, and like I told him that forever ago, and he was like, "That's really weird." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if it was like a dominant, like possessive thing or like a gentleman thing,
right? Or
like whatever." But like he would ask me like 3-piece suit would be like, "What do you want to eat?" And I would like tell him, and then when the waitress would come over, he would just like order for both of us,
right?
And so he was like, "Yeah, that's super strange." And then like after my current and I started talking about how I need to work on being nicer to service workers, he was like, that's probably why he ordered for you, because you're such a bitch sometimes. Maybe.
And I mean, that is very old schooly, and I mean, it is kind of like a little, not architect, I don't know what the word I'm thinking of.
Patriarchal?
No, like, kind of just like it's an old world thing where like the man would like talk for the woman and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that became like gentlemanly in a way.
Right.
So like it could come from like the gentleman's perspective, like, oh, I'll order for my lady. Or it could come from like the women are quiet at dinner time kind of thing.
You don't speak unless spoken to.
Yeah, so like it could come from both spheres or whatever. But I mean, like I don't think, it just depends on like where it comes from. Because, like, if we're just, like, chit-chatting and he's like, oh, like, you're getting that for dinner, cool. And then he just kind of tells the server about it. Like, it just depends on which kind of side of the patriarchy it comes from.
Right.
But I don't think I would mind it entirely.
It wasn't horrible. It was just, like, I never thought it was weird until after we weren't together. And then I was like, maybe that is kind of weird.
Right.
It's also weird that he wore a 3-piece suit.
It's a Six Flags. Correct. Very true, very true. But yeah, it just
really
depends.
Quickly, I just want to pull up receipts to like show you proof so that you can get a vibe for what it was like, okay?
Oh
because
God.
like I don't have pictures like in my camera roll, but like
super sad.
What?
That I can't see that.
What?
Just like the constant 3-piece suit.
Oh, like in picture after picture.
Yeah, because that would be priceless.
That would be amazing. No, I have pictures in my mom and I's messages from like forever of like a couple of guys that I was like interested in. So yeah, there's red flag. So let's see. So here's one.
Oh, you showed me that before.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
and once she looks it up, we don't have these nicknames for you guys. We have these nicknames for us.
Yeah, because Matthew can't remember anybody.
And it's fun to like regard people as like red flag. That's a lot. That looks like you guys are going to prom. Yeah, we have these little nicknames like 3-piece suit and shit for us because it's funny.
Like
prom. That's winter formal because you look very dressed down.
And then this is our first day. I'm literally wearing like a t-shirt and he's wearing a dress shirt.
Good for him.
No suit. He didn't want to scare me off.
Right.
Oh, this wasn't our first date.
He had to dress it down.
This was like a couple
dates in.
Yeah.
He had to dress it down.
But still, yeah.
And we're not shading anybody if you wear a 3-piece suit all the time. I'm just saying there's a time and place for everything. Wow. when you have to take a picture with your mouth open every single time, or when your eyebrows are always up. So glad we grew out of that.
Oh my god, why did anybody let me look like that? My eyebrows have come such a long way, have they
Right?
not?
What a fear.
What a fear, yeah. So today we're talking about fears. Irrational and rational.
Right?
So just like rattle it off.
Right? Fears are like cringeworthy fears. Like, since you were just showing pictures of like ex relationships and stuff, like the fear of, not like the fear of growth, but like when you break out of a relationship, like the glow up everyone has, and then you have like a fear of what you were before and like returning to it or whatever. So that's like a really rational fear, because like when you're in a relationship, you're acting one way, and if it's like toxic and like demeaning, you like glow up and like grow out of all of that stuff. So that's definitely like a rational fear.
Well, yeah, because
of like how you're being suppressed.
Right, and like people change. I grew up in a tiny little town, and I was influenced by a lot of people that I shouldn't have been influenced by. I made a lot of wrong decisions. I was a little rebellious, bitchy little girl.
Right.
And like people learn and they change and they grow, and like I work on myself every day. Like, I set new goals for myself every month.
Exactly.
About what I want to change within myself.
Right.
And so, like, it's really frustrating when people don't recognize that. And I'm like, I promise I'm not that person anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it takes one step at a time. And, like, when people, like, from the outside view, you don't see much change. But, like, you're, like, I'm changing. Yeah. You're evolving and stuff.
Yeah, like, if you knew me in high school, no, you didn't.
You would have hated me. So yeah, there's like the fear of like who you were and like becoming like submissive or whatever, like not submissive, but like oppressed. Like from old relationships, you have like the fear of like being oppressed again and being like in a toxic relationship again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it like that.
Was that a rational fear? Or?
Yeah, that was very rational.
Okay.
Because like irrational is like the fear of like huge spiders.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like that's why they're
my
called,
rational fear
like
is
phobias. Rape. It's very rational.
As a young white female who lives alone and works nights,
right?
I'm terrified.
And it's very accurate. And you go out with like you going out with like Sarah and stuff. Like that's a very strong fear for like any group of young girls and
like
stuff.
getting roofied, like. Basically just like sexual assault in general.
Right.
Like getting roofied and taken advantage of, or getting fucking raped or sodomized, or
exactly
like anything that you would see in a Law and Order SVU episode. That's what I'm afraid of.
Exactly.
Rationally.
And it's so like common, like it's in almost like every like movie or show. There's always like a scene, if it's like the nightlife or whatever, like in American Horror Story when she went to the like Coven, when they went to the party and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. They ran a train on her.
Exactly. Like they do just like, and it's not like every guy.
But they roofied her too, or was she just drunk?
They drugged her for sure. They slipped, like the main jock slipped her a pill, and that's why she was all like lucid and stuff. And it's like a very real fear because like it happens too frequently.
Yeah, it's
like
way too easy.
Yeah, and for the fact
that video, that TikTok, was it a TikTok or did we just stumble across it? Because I know I saw it on Twitter, not on TikTok. But that girl with the corn kernels, when she's like showing how easy it is to roofie a drink.
Yeah, I think.
And then she has like that cup of water.
And how easy you can just drop it and slip it out of your hand. Like there's so many like and it's so like easy and like readily available.
Right.
That like it can just happen any day.
If anything, that video taught me to like drink cans and bottles.
Right.
Because like it would be significantly harder
to get a pill into a can and stuff. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Without being like super obvious about it. Because if it's just like an open cup, I mean, that's why that video was so crazy. Because it was so easy for her to do it. Right.
And it's like, I don't know what I was thinking about. But just like, the culture around it has become very like toxic too. Like instead of, it's about like, I remember I kept seeing videos. It was more of like training girls about how to protect themselves and not training young boys about how to not fucking do it.
Right.
Like they're like, and it's like, there's a lot of good things coming out of it, but like the scrunchie with a little like, it's like an elastic. It was like a scrunchie that's normal, and then on the inside it had an elastic like cup cover, so you could stretch it over your glass and then stick your straw through it. And it's like amazing that we have that, but it's like we shouldn't.
Right.
Like we shouldn't be creating like the nail polish that gets activated by like roofies and stuff. Like we should, and it's like amazing that that's true, but it's like we should be teaching and like training young boys and people that's
to be good people.
That's definitely not okay and stuff. And it's like it goes along with like like girls can't wear spaghetti straps because the boys are getting
Right,
distracted.
that's how it was in my high school.
Exactly, and that's how it is in
there
like
was girls
most
that were sent
places.
home for wearing fucking yoga pants.
And it's like, why? And it's like, if it's breaking,
They
like,
said it was distracting.
yeah, and it's like schools should have dress codes. Guys shouldn't come to school with like wife beaters on or like
Right.
gym shorts and stuff. Like,
See,
it shouldn't
our
sag.
school was like no facial hair.
Yeah, which is, yeah, and it's like, it should be, because like school's for learning, and that's what the focus is. Like, you shouldn't be trying to like dress up or like wear inappropriate clothing or whatever. Like, it's like you should dress properly to properly learn and stuff.
Right.
But like the mentality behind it shouldn't be like, it's like, if you don't want yoga pants, that's like, if the rule was like no yoga pants because that's like fitness wear, because they won't allow boys to wear gym shorts or whatever, sure, by all means.
No, that's not what it was for.
Exactly. Like, it was for like, oh, you're showing too much body, or it's too tight and stuff. And it's like, why? I can't show body.
Why are you looking?
Exactly.
Why are you looking at a young girl in high school? Why are you looking at her and recognizing the fact that her clothes are too tight?
Right? Like, it shouldn't be about that. And
Seems very pedophilia-ish.
Right? And it's like the mentality of like, guys are like perfect and girls need to protect themselves from it.
Right.
It's, like,
another thing too
not.
is like I think that more women need to be educated on rape.
Oh, 100%. It's one of those things that like girls are trained not to yell rape, they're trained to yell fire.
Right.
Because people are going to look away from an alley with a girl yelling rape.
Right. Another thing too is like so I had a conversation with someone and we were talking about how like I was telling her about how like consent can be revoked at any time.
Uh-huh. And
if they continue, it's rape.
Exactly.
If you are coerced into sex and you're not in the mood, that's rape.
That's rape.
If you like, there's so many outcomes.
Exactly.
To
like if somebody's a little too first of all, if you're any more than like 2 drinks,
right,
unless it's like full consent, like relationship, dates and stuff, like that's the most fine line, is like just throw it in there, drugs and alcohol. If that's any in your system, I feel like it's being coerced.
Right.
Because like, of course you're not gonna, like, I'm on the not bandwagon, but I'm on the train of thought, like, you wouldn't do anything you wouldn't do unless you're like normally, you know what I'm saying? Yes. But like, if you're drunk, you wouldn't do anything out of your character.
Drunk actions are sober thoughts.
Exactly. But like, you're more fluid with going with things, because if somebody's like a little tipsy and they're still with it and stuff, you can be coerced into having sex when you wouldn't want to.
Right.
And stuff, but
even when you're sober, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. And it's just like,
because I could name 5 people off the top of my head right now that were in a relationship or had a friends with benefits or whatever, and they weren't really in the mood, and then the guy started like rubbing up on them and everything,
getting too pushy.
Yeah, and then they were like, no, I'm not in the mood, and he's like, come on baby, come on, like, I love you, you're so sexy, like,
and they get coerced into it.
Yes,
yeah,
that is fucking rape.
Exactly. And it's like, you should be able to like say no once and then it's done. Like, I don't care if like we're cuddling and it's having like a good time and it's like, well, first of all, I signed up to cuddle. Right. Nothing further.
Right.
Exactly. And it's like,
I give you my consent for that, not for anything else.
Basically.
And another thing too is, because what sparked that conversation with that girl was even if you're married, it does not mean consent for life.
Oh, absolutely not.
The marital rape is a very real thing.
Oh, 100%.
And like, that is just as terrifying as being pulled into a dark alley.
Exactly, because it's more like pressuring for the other person, like the wife or the husband on the other side of it, because like you have that mentality, like, we're married, like married people have sex all the time and stuff like that, like right. That's my husband, that's my wife, so it's like more pressure to say yes right. when you don't want to. And
a lot of times too, like, it's something that you have to like actively work on, but like a lot of times too, instead of just like, you know, making the moves, like rubbing thighs or like, you know, start making out or whatever, right. Just be like, you want to go upstairs.
Exactly. Like have the like ask.
Or just even be more open than that, because I've done it too. I'm like, do you want to have sex?
Exactly.
Like,
and that's very hard. That's a lot. Like, that's very hard for like across the board, not even like considering consent, but like asking the other person, like, oh, is like butt stuff okay? Is this okay? Is that okay? Like, is it okay if I do this? Like, open the line of conversation. Right. Like, and it's hard for a lot of people, like, to even bring up like the simplest stuff and stuff. And it's like, you should have the conversation, like even during sex or sex before sex,
Right.
like when you're talking and stuff, or like on the date, like it's not like faux pas, like it's part of the relationship.
Right.
Like you should be like, oh, this is off limits, or like I'm okay with this, or like this at this stage and stuff. Like it's hard for people to like talk about it.
I agree.
And that just needs to be like a good conversation.
As much as we like as how far.
She's having a stroke. She's had 2 strokes today, by the way.
I think it's been more than that. For how far we've come, talking about sex with somebody in an open manner is still taboo.
Yeah, because like in health class, like as you're a kid, they barely talk about anything.
Right.
They talk about condoms and dental dams, and that's it. And it's like they need to talk about consent. They need to talk about rape. They need to talk about like Planned B and like just like going to Planned Parenthood. Like I don't think they talked about anything about, like they said STDs, and they were like, they're basically like, I feel like health class is like very religious based.
Same.
Because it's a scare tactic.
Yeah.
Like that's health class is a scare tactic.
100%.
Because I remember in my health class they talked about like dental dams. Who the fuck uses that? Condoms and like vaginal sex, of course. Vaginal sex. Vaginal sex. And then they talked about like a couple STDs. And then they brought a guy in who had HIV or AIDS. I can't remember.
What?
And like
my school didn't do that.
And he had like a huge like bin of drugs that he had to take each day. And that's a scare tactic. Yeah. That's not informing you about like, because if he came in and he was like, these are the drugs I have to take because I slipped up once because I didn't wear a condom or anything. Like he didn't have a healthy conversation about it. It was like, boom, look at the 50 drugs I have to take every single day because I had sex. Like that's how the course went. And it's a scare tactic. Like it should be more open.
Right.
It should talk about like so much better stuff in like a healthier environment, but they don't. Right. And that's why I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about sex and are scared to.
And I think another thing too is I think that they need to inform more on the things that you've talked about, but also more on STDs.
Yes.
I'm 23 years old. You are 24. I've met people in my life that have never been tested.
Exactly.
I've met people in my life that don't know that you can get chlamydia from literally like just skin to skin contact with your genitals.
Right. Like sleeping naked together.
Well,
like, but you know, like cuddling and like getting frisky, but like it's like the boundaries, because everyone thinks like STDs, or the uninformed think STDs mean sexual penetration, like that.
Right. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like
and
it doesn't have to be penetration.
Yeah, and you could get stuff like not chlamydia of the mouth, but like you can get like
thrush.
Yeah, you can get like shit from the mouth, and kissing and like oral sex, and like anal sex is different than vaginal sex and stuff. Like there's different classifications and different boundaries of getting shit.
There's girls that I know, like women that I know that are my same age, that have never had a pap smear. They've never had a gynecological exam, which is like super fucking alarming.
Right, because it's not just sex, like it's other like biological stuff that you could be a virgin, but you still need to do that because like shit just happens within the body.
You could have fucking cervical cancer.
Exactly.
And not know.
Right.
Like the whole system everybody just needs to be informed more, because like I'm rewatching Orange is the New Black.
Right.
And there's an episode in there about how they were talking about how like women have 3 holes, and they were like, no, they only have 2. And they were like the vagina and the butthole, and they were like, no, you have a pee hole. Right. And they were like, no, you don't. And like, yes, get a mirror, go look at your fucking pussy.
Right.
Like it's so alarming.
It's like, yeah, and it's like even people who have had sex, it's like, you know, there's 2 holes down there. And like even as like I was gonna say straight, even as like a cis white man, I didn't experience any kind of predation or any kind of like uncomfortable feeling going to like bars. And it happened last year. I think I was like 20. I think I just turned 23, and I've been going to bars since like 21. So that was like 2 years or whatever. But still, that's like 2 years of going out like every couple weeks or whatever. So that's like a lot of going out. And I'd never experienced any kind of like uncomfortability because like I've had girlfriends and stuff that are like, oh, I've been like creeped out, like a guy dances on me and it's hard to get him away or whatever. And I've never experienced that. And of course I've been uncomfortable going down like alleys or at night, or like when I went to London I felt uncomfortable because I was like all by myself.
Right.
But like that was
super
more
brave of you to just do it, by
exactly
the way.
yeah. And I was like
full send.
Right. And like I never had the like, it was more of the fear of getting like murdered or mugged. But, like, I feel like in girls' minds when they're walking down an alley by themselves, it's not getting murdered or mugged. It's getting raped.
It's getting raped.
And kidnapped.
Yes. Or,
and,
like, sex trafficked. Or
yeah.
That, like, my rational fears is rape and murder and sex trafficking. Like, okay, so my boyfriend literally, so you know how I, like, love collecting DVDs?
Yes.
So I have, like, one side of my entertainment stand that's, like, rom-coms, sad movies, like action movies, whatever.
Right.
And then on the other side it's like scary movies. And he comes over and we were like looking through the movies to watch one. He's like, why is Taken in the scary movie section? And I'm like, that is a scary movie.
It is. That's
Two
terrifying.
young girls go out of the country underage,
right,
and they literally get kidnapped, drugged, sex trafficked, sold. One of them dies, and like their dad,
they're being held captive. How is that not scary?
I'm sure they got raped too.
Exactly.
It's scary.
So yeah, like I had never experienced anything, but last year when I went to Denver Pride, it wasn't even that bad, but I mean it was like I was like
Right.
my heart was racing. But we were at Denver Pride and my friend ditched me, so like me and my friend went up for Denver Pride. We got like a hotel. It was like no big deal. And then we went out like one night, it was fine. And then we went out to another night and we went to Charlie's, and Charlie's opens up their parking lot so they can have more people because it's like the festival. And there was like a stage and like people were dancing on top of it, like whatever, like go-go boys and shit. And I was just like enjoying the show, being by myself, which is a bad call. But I was just like enjoying it, like whatever, sipping my drink. And then some guy who was shorter than me.
I love
Which
how
is like,
that's relevant information.
it was relevant. Like, get the fuck away from me. You think you can get me being shorter than me?
Like, how short?
Like, if I turned around, I'd have to look down. Like, I probably could turn, like,
Like, shorter than me.
Yeah, like, straight forward, I could see his, like, the top of his head, and I had to look down for his eyes. And, like, I was just dancing, like, stage. Everyone's facing the same way, and I was just standing there, and then I feel, like, somebody's hand on, like, my pocket. And I, like, looked down. It wasn't white.
Was he going to give you a pocket job?
No, but, like, he wouldn't stop touching me. Can I finish my story? So, like, I feel it on, like, my hip or whatever. And I, like, look down thinking it's, like, my friend or whatever. And it wasn't white. So I was, like, I looked over.
It's a little gremlin.
Basically. So I, like, look over my other shoulder. And it was just some dude. And then he kept whispering,
Why would you let him get that close to you?
it was like a crowd. It was Pride. This was pre-COVID. Leave me alone.
And you heard him whispering in the crowd?
Well, I couldn't hear him. No,
okay.
But I could tell he was like trying to say something. But it was I couldn't tell if it was like Puerto Rican or like another, but it was like a like Spanish or a Latin American language. Like I could not tell. But like I looked back and then I like pushed him away because he just had touched me and he was like whispering. So I like pushed him away. Why are you laughing? I felt attacked, you bitch.
I'm sorry.
And then I like pushed him away and then like I was like, fine. It was like 25 seconds later, he tried to touch me again. And then like I turned back and I looked at him and then he kept trying to whisper in my ear. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying. Leave me alone. And I push him away again. And at that point I was like on edge because I was like, third time's the charm. He's going to stab me. And then like he keeps trying to touch me and I literally like fully turn around and I was like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
As like there's blasting music and there's people around. And I turn around and I could still tell he's there because like I can still.
Why didn't you just walk away?
Because it was my first time. I was scared. I'm sorry. And then like I was just like standing there and I could still tell he was behind me because I still felt like a person still right behind me. Because like, you know, you can feel the energy in a crowd. You can tell if somebody's like directly behind you.
Yeah.
Or if they're with friends or whatever. Like the sixth sense we have as human beings. And then like some straight looking guy, like two people away, like looks at me and like reaches through the crowd and he's like, is he bothering you? And I was like,
oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, stop it. And I was like, it should be fine by now, thank you.
Yeah.
Like not in like that demeanor, but I was like, it should be fine now.
When in reality you were like, take me home
basically
tonight.
As I was like drunk dancing and shit.
Yeah.
But I was like thank you. No, I was like, this should be good. And then I felt him like brush away and stuff and I was like, holy shit. And I was like, I don't know who that person was. And it's like, they could have been watching me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like he could have seen that I was by myself. Like my friend left me and I was just like, I was holding my glass and I was like watching the crowd. And then like, he was just behind me. And it's like, if I was like somebody else, like a young blonde girl, like I could have been fucking kidnapped.
Right.
Cause I was by myself. Everyone's focus is on the stage and up, so nobody's like looking, like there's not intermingling like eyes.
Right.
So like if you're not looking at the, like you're looking at the person in front of you, and since I'm directly in front of him, nobody could see that like he was doing stuff in their line of sight.
Right.
So like the only reason, like, yeah, and it's like that one person saw it.
It's so funny to me that you like gave him multiple chances, because I was at a rave once. And I was with, like, friends that I knew. There was, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 people that I knew. And then there was 2 random people with them.
Yeah.
And they had, like, just met them. And so anyway, they were all, like, hanging out or whatever. And we were at the rave and we went to go outside to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
And somebody touched my ass, and it was one of the guys that were with the guy that I knew. Yeah. And he touched my ass, and like I don't even give him a chance. Like it was stay rude, stay alive. Yeah. Literally.
That's what I was about to say. Literally. It's like because it was like my first time.
Yeah.
And it's like me being like a cis white male. Like nobody like taught me, you know, because like, yeah, I'm gay now, but like, it's not like my dad had the talk with his like young daughter about like, you need to watch yourself, because like nobody has that conversation with men. Right. And it's like, it's just as like, maybe not just as prominent, but like girls can be predators too. Yes. And it's like a strong personalitied female can like go up to a guy and take it as much advantage as like a guy can to a girl. Right. And it's like not, and like that should be another conversation. Like it should be equal protection. I agree. Like of men and female, because it's like I know multiple gay men or trans men that have been like attacked and like hurt because nobody had that conversation with them, and they don't like, I didn't think about it like up until that happened. I was like, shit ain't gonna happen to me like rape or sex traffic, because I am a male, and like in Western culture, like men are basically protected because of their gender. Right.
And anyway, so when that guy touched my ass, like I don't even give him a chance. I turned around and I was like, do not fucking touch me.
How old were you?
Like 19.
Yeah, and that's great.
Yeah.
Like for the fact that you could do that, because like most girls, like I've even seen in like servers and stuff like that, they get like a pinch on the butt, like Hooters kind of shit. Yeah. And they're like, ha ha ha, stop it. And it's like, no.
Even with the job that we do now, like there's old men that will try to touch your ass when you're rolling them in bed.
And I'm like, try that shit again.
I'm like, do not touch my butt.
Exactly. And it's like, it's amazing that like at that like young quote unquote age that you could like stand up for yourself, because I feel like a white girl blonde from the suburbs probably wouldn't have reacted the same way as you did.
No.
And especially in like an environment with already drugs and loud music and delirium and like the lights and stuff, like things could go bad in like a second for somebody.
But I don't know. I probably am so quick to be good about that sort of thing, about like standing up for myself and setting boundaries. And I'm probably good about that because I had like some experiences when I was growing up and stuff, and like in middle school and high school that were like sexual assault, but not like rape. Yeah. So anyways, I've had stuff like that, and that like I think that's where my fear for
you were like predisposed to like it, so you had a guard already up.
So now that I think because of the stuff that happened to me, I think that's why I'm scared.
Exactly, and because you know how easy and it's come so like readily available to some boys, and it's happened so frequently. Of course, it's going to be a terror. I saw this TikTok the other week. It's not related to TikTok, but like in my mind it was. And it was like that creepy douchey guy. And it's like, where's my hug? You're not going to give me a hug and stuff. And that's like grade 1 like sexual assault. Yes. Like guys in high school, like going around girls, like scaring them, giving them hugs, like picking them up and stuff. Like that they're not like the friendliest friend with or whatever, and it's like, where's my hug? And girls are like, oh, fine. And then they turn around, they're like, that guy's such a weirdo. Yeah. That's like grade 1 like sexual assault, because it's like you're letting him think that he can get away with that, and then that evolves within him thinking he can grab a girl's waist in the dance club or whatever, like on the dance floor, and it's like no. Right. All right, so now I'm very aware of that, like in the club. Like I always was, but like now after that experience, I'm always like, who the fuck's behind me? Right. Like I'm like, back up. And it's like, yeah, there should be a culture of like, you should not be that close to people. And maybe after COVID, it'll get better.
Maybe.
So yeah, everyone should like fuel that sixth sense about you, about like your surroundings, of course. And then like, if you're in a like a dense dance floor or whatever, you should always be aware of how close, what direction that guy's body is. Because like, if you're dancing and you're dancing with friends, that guy behind you should not be facing you when your back's facing to him. He should not be within a couple like within a foot of you with his torso facing you to your butt.
Right.
Like, he should not. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to be able to feel it.
Yeah.
What other fears?
Let's talk about irrational fears.
Okay, let's swap off. Yeah. Like an irrational, oh god, I don't know. Because it used to be irrationally fear of heights, but that's a rational fear, and like on like a depending
on what scenario.
Yeah, like if you're like in a building and you're like looking at the window, that's an irrational fear, because you're not just gonna like the window's not gonna blow up and you're gonna get sucked out. That's an irrational fear.
But like on a roller coaster?
Exactly, that's rational. Because like I love going on like Wheel of Fortune. Ferris wheels and being at the very top when they stop. Like, I love that, and looking down.
I hate Ferris wheels. They're so slow.
They're so boring, but I like being up high and stuff. But like irrational fear is like, yeah. So there's like a give or take or whatever.
Mine is water.
Like open water?
Open water, dark water.
That's my sister's irrational fear.
Lakes,
we went to a
oceans.
lake and she was like quivering.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was scared too. I didn't want to go swimming, but like I wasn't like panicking on the boat. But like me and my friends a couple years ago, we went out to like some lake up in Silverthorne, and we were swimming, and I was like getting anxiety about like, because I was like, I don't know how deep this water is.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of this lake, and I was like kind of getting scared about it, because like it's hard. Open water's hard to swim in, first of all. And then like if you go down and you can't get up, you're fucked.
It's
like,
scary.
Yeah.
I have
scary.
no desire to go see the ocean or snorkeling or
yeah, that's an irrational
anything.
fear of like the ocean.
Yeah, I could give two fucks less. I love living in a landlocked state. I don't want to go to the lake. I don't want to go boating. I don't want to go tubing. Call me not adventurous. I don't give a fuck. I would rather sit at home and watch TV than go somewhere where I could fucking drown.
True.
I'm not doing it.
I love the ocean though.
Even at like Waterworld and Elitch's, the wave pools freak me out.
I can understand that, because like kids drown.
Yes.
Like in a second, because there's so many kids and
I
people
almost
and
had
stuff.
an experience like that at the Elitch's one. It was so fucking scary.
That sounds terrifying.
But it's like, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. That's a real irrational fear, is the wave pools at theme parks, because like, okay, so first of all,
they're filled with pee.
No, I don't give a fuck about that. They're filled with people. Literally, people have tubes. You get sucked under. You can't come up because there's a fat motherfucker on a tube on
blocking
top of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, get out of the way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the water's just going crazy.
Yeah, and then like, okay, so then like because I like going in when the water's calm and then getting out when it starts to get like the waves start going.
Yeah.
So like I like to go like wade in the pool, like have the water up to like my thighs or my knees or something, and then maybe like sit down and like where the water's at your shoulders
so it's
and
just
stuff.
kind of like...
Yeah, so it's just kind of like more on the shore,
right?
Like whatever. But like as soon as the waves come, it's like, right? And everybody's like, ah! And I'm like, what's going on? And then like it's fucking going crazy and the waves start coming and I'm like so stressed out. I hate that feeling so much. And so that's why I don't love Waterworld. I prefer roller coasters because for some reason I feel safer like that than I do in the water.
It is like metal and wood, and it probably runs 500 times a day, so it is kind of more safe. I don't like public pools or like any kind of water park because of the oil. Like, people are gross. Sunscreen, all that shit, and pee and stuff, like all that shit in the water, like that's kind of an irrational fear. Yeah. Because I don't like, it's just gross. Germs are gross. And on a side note, fun fact, when you go to like public pools that are inside, that smell, like, you know,
it's I love that smell.
Do you not know what fun fact I'm going to tell you?
No. That
smell isn't the smell of like chlorine or bleach. It's the byproduct smell of burning off like organics. So it's like if it's a fresh pool, cleaned, butt clean, like brand new, and there's bleach and chlorine in the water. I don't know if they put bleach in it.
Probably a little bit.
Probably, but if it's like a chlorine pool, it's inside, it's whatever, the YMCA, and it's brand new, just built, you won't smell that pool smell until after people go in. It's the chemical burn off of like sweat and pee and stuff. Like the smell of public pool.
Well, I don't think of it at like a YMCA. I think of it at like a hotel. Like as soon as you walk into the lobby, you can
smells
smell
like
it.
that. Yeah, that smell is after people have like contaminated it with like body sweat, oils, and pee. So like that iconic pool smell isn't from chlorine. It's from the burn off of the sweat and pee.
Wow. I still love the smell.
It's just gross.
Love it.
And I hate that. I just don't like, that's an irrational fear, is like germs and stuff in public pools, because it's just a cesspool.
I don't think you're using that word correctly.
It's a cesspool.
What does that mean?
Germs in a water body.
That's not what cesspool means.
Cesspool is like water filtration where it's like full of shit. I don't know, but that's how I feel about pools, is they're gross. I don't think I have many irrational fears. I think all my fears are very rational, like being burned by the oven. That's
a disgusting or corrupt place.
Cesspool.
That's what cesspool is.
Yes.
Yeah. An underground container for the temporary storage of liquid waste and sewage.
That's what public pools are to me.
Ew.
Yeah, like all my irrational fears are like being burned by the oven in the stove.
Oh my god, I'm so afraid of being burned by the oven.
I will put mittens and like oven mitts on.
And a ski mask.
Basically, because I hate like the feel of the heat on the face. I hate like if I get close to like being burned by the oven rack, it like freaks me out.
Yeah, same.
Like up until like I started, like I lived by myself or with my roommate or whatever, I would make anybody else get whatever was out of the oven because I could not.
I can do it, but like since you wear glasses, don't you hate getting stuff out of the oven more when you're wearing glasses than you do just like with your contacts in or no glasses or whatever?
Yeah, it goes straight into the eyes, I feel.
Literally, like when you have glasses on, it fogs up and your hands are in the oven.
And I'm shaky and shit.
I can't see.
I will ask, if there's anybody with me, I will ask them to get whatever out of the oven because I hate like being burned, and I hate grills for the same reason.
My dad asked me if I wanted
a grill for Halloween.
A grill for Halloween?
For Christmas?
For Christmas. And I told him no, because listen, I'm just now starting to cook. But like, okay, so this is my ration.
I thought you were a cook. I thought you stood a cook.
As you literally didn't toast the bread on your fucking piece of shit sandwich.
You're not supposed to. It wasn't part of the cooking ingredients.
It looked disgusting.
It was delicious.
I'll
make
like
it for
white
you.
Trash Wonder
I'll make
bread.
one toasted and one. She's talking about a spicy chicken katsu I prepared the other day. You don't toast the bread because the bread is supposed to be untoasted sandwich.
Gross.
So I'll toast it and then I will not toast it and we'll see.
Okay.
And you'll pick the toasted because you're predisposed to being a bitch. You'll be like, the toast is delicious. And I'll be like, then finish it.
So are you also a person that eats a BLT without the bread being toasted?
I don't eat BLTs.
Why?
Because it's not a sandwich. It's like a garnish sandwich.
What?
Bacon, lettuce, tomato, where's the meat? I know bacon's the meat, but it's like, where's the sliced ham? Where's the chicken? It feels like there needs to be one more ingredient of like a main meat. Like I feel like there needs to be like slices of turkey or like chicken on top.
You could do that.
I know, but
then it would be a club sandwich.
Clubs don't they have eggs on them?
No.
Oh,
what?
I don't know. I just BLTs.
What are you talking about?
BLTs are useless. It's bacon, lettuce, and tomato in between two breads. It's a snack that will not fill anybody up. You don't go to Subway and order a BLT because that's not a sandwich, bitch.
No. Anyways.
I have irrational fears of white people food. Let's talk about that.
As you literally like fucking love Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is the god's food.
Okay.
That's not white people food.
It's not?
No.
Okay. What's your favorite Mexican food?
Oh my god. Carne asada fries.
You're like Taco Bell.
Sopapillas. I don't know.
Oh, I love sopapillas.
BLTs. We'll skip on.
Yeah.
Do you have any other irrational fears?
Irrational?
Hand in the blender, garbage disposal.
Oh, garbage disposal
That's
for sure.
I will cut the power to the house before I reach into a garbage disposal. Because I've seen so many horror movies where everything's off and they just reach down and it just ghost turns it on. Pass. Pass. I also have...
Do you ever wonder why the garbage disposal flick is like...
Without
this,
a... Oh,
this
because
way
you
instead of
usually
this way?
like you... I don't know. Because like I've seen in houses with like larger walls or whatever, it's always sideways. Maybe so you don't accidentally think it's a light switch. That's probably another security reason.
Probably.
Yeah, and it's always out of hand's reach, so you're not sticking your hand in and can turn it on. I have irrational since I watched Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah.
I have irrational fear of having bare walls. Because of him.
Because he's
Except for this wall, because it has a window on it. Yeah. So Freddy Krueger can only come through a wall if it doesn't have anything on it. I don't think that's like a rule. But in the movie, he only came through walls that didn't have anything on them because he couldn't like break through. So like in grade school, like in my parents' house, I always had something on my walls.
Yeah.
Because I had a rational fear of him coming through my walls.
Yeah.
So like now it's decoration, partly probably because of my fear.
Right.
But like I can't have a bare wall. Because it freaks me out.
So I don't know if it's a fear or it's just something that I really don't like. I don't like the feeling of microfiber towels on my fingers.
I love.
Oh, you sick freak.
Not like, ugh, but like it feels so soft.
No, it doesn't. It like catches my fingers.
And when you wash them, they're like full of static.
I don't know if my hands are just really dry.
Probably.
But like, no, because even after I wear lotion, it just like, I hate the feeling. It's kind of like.
Because it's microfibers. So
Yeah.
it catches everything.
I also don't like the feeling of toilet paper, cotton balls, or.
Oh, I saw one on TikTok where the girl glued cotton balls to this other girl's door and she like couldn't touch it because she hates that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like squishy and like.
That's not what it is.
Not
it's
squishy,
like
but
the
like
rough.
Yeah, the roughness, but
Yeah.
like it's I can feel it.
I don't like that. So I don't like.
That's an irrational fear.
Yeah, I don't.
Cotton balls.
Yeah, I don't like cotton balls. I don't like cotton rounds. I don't like Q-tips.
No.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Look.
Oh my God, she does. Like, how do you clean your ears?
So usually, like, it's gonna sound gross, but usually I do it with the end of tweezers.
That is gross
like
and dangerous. The rounded edge.
The round edge.
The blade edge. You're
No,
like
not the
scraping it up.
not the pinchy edge.
The round edge, yeah.
Yeah, the round edge. So like, I'll use that and do that, or I'll use a bobby pin. The only time I use Q-tips is like to get like mascara off my eyelids. That's about it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But I don't like the feeling of the little stick either.
Oh, the cardboard?
So another thing going with that is like like Dum Dum suckers.
Yeah.
I won't eat them because
of the lollipop stick?
The stick.
Interesting.
I hate it.
How weird. I've never heard of that.
It feels gross on my fingers and I don't like the way it feels. It's probably like that much in your lips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's too much.
I don't like that. The only way that I'll eat them is if I break off this stick and it's just that. And then I suck on it like a lifesaver. And then at that point, when the candy's almost done and you crunch it off the stick, it's like that much and it's like soggy. So it doesn't feel...
So it feels better.
It feels fine. And then I'll just like spit that little part out. But like I don't know what material to even call all those things. But like it fucking I hate it.
Interesting.
It makes me feel so fucking weird.
I don't know if it's a rational fear or like my psychotic nature. But like driving and thinking, you're like, I could just
same. I do that all the time.
Kill myself. Or like in front of a train or like a bus, you're like, I could just jump.
Or you're like, I could just close my eyes right now.
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know if that's like an irrational fear my body will take over me or if I'm a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
But that's definitely like a fear of mine. Because I feel like when I was in like London, they have tons of trains. I feel like if I lived in a metropolitan area, I would have to go see a therapist because I'd be like every day before the L train came over, I just think of jumping in front of it. And it's like, I'm not suicidal. I just like, and if somebody's with me, I'm like, I could push that little girl. I'm like, I could just push her in front of the train. And it's like, God. And it's like my body could just take over when I'm driving and just crash into the median.
Yeah, 100%. I think about that in other situations too. Like,
oh, yeah, like killing somebody?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Think about it constantly.
Yeah, so I think about that too. I don't know what else I'm trying to think. Oh, I got one. That's like similar to the Q-tip one. Wet hand touching ice cubes. Have you ever done that before?
Where it like sticks to you?
Yeah.
To you?
Fuck.
Interesting.
Look. Like,
you're so crazy. I mean, that's interesting because you can like... you can like dangle them on your fingers.
God, I fucking hate it.
Interesting.
Literally I hate it. Like if I drop ice cubes on the ground, I'll get
like a paper towel.
No, because I don't like the feeling of paper towels either.
So we learned that Joslyn doesn't clean her ears or clean her house.
I clean my house. I just do it with like those, those blue things we have at work in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Those.
like the shop.
They're not shop towels.
I know, but they're like kind of.
They're like restaurant, like.
They're supposed to be reused, but nobody reuses them. Yeah.
No, I use those to clean my house. But anyway, I can only use paper towels if my hands are wet.
Wet.
If my hands are dry, it creeps me out like the Q-tips.
Interesting.
But if my hands, like, if I just wash my hands, paper towel, no problem.
Yeah, but if you're, like, grabbing a paper towel to clean up something wet.
Yes,
okay.
and my hands are dry.
How interesting.
Ugh.
How weird.
But, like, the ice cube thing, like, if I drop an ice cube on the ground, literally, like, I will grab, like, a kitchen towel and, like, pick it up. Like that.
Interesting.
But it also creeps me out too when the ice sticks to other things. Like when the ice sticks to the kitchen towel or when the ice sticks to the paper towel or
because it like freezes on contact.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I hate
How weird.
I hate it.
I don't think that made me think of I don't think it's like a fear or anything, but like the very increased uncomfortability of sweaters. If a sweater has like a scratchy feeling, I cannot wear it.
Right.
Like things have to, because like when like somebody's like you're now aware that your socks are constantly touching you or that you're blinking and stuff like that. When I wear sweaters, I have to wear it's on the floor. I have to wear like a long sleeve underwear, like an undershirt if I'm wearing a certain sweater
touching your
because
skin.
it's like scratchy. It's not like a single layer. It's like the cords. But like if it's like a good knit sweater, it should be fine. But if it's like a scratchy sweater that you buy at like fucking Walmart, I will not wear it.
Right.
Unless I have a fucking turtleneck on underneath it so it doesn't come in contact with my skin. Because like if I wear it for like 2 seconds, that's all I'm thinking about is how uncomfortable I am.
I was like that with jeans for the longest time because I hated the feeling of jeans on my legs because it really felt like...
Because you wore cargo pants your whole life?
Yeah, I did. I wore a ton of cargo pants.
I hate certain athletic shorts. Like the very tight knit nylon. I hate that texture too.
Wait, like what do you mean? Like spandex?
No, like a little looser than that. Like basketball shorts where it's like that metallic-y sheen, but they're like like you can't really see the fibers, but like I don't know how to describe it and I also don't know what it is, but it's like it's basketball shorts.
Okay.
And they're very metallic-y, very like silky, but they're tight knit nylon. I hate that texture.
I think I know exactly the type that you're talking about.
I hate that texture.
Let me like look it up just to like make sure I have it because when I think basketball shorts, I think of like the little tiny mesh ones.
No, not those.
Not
yeah,
those
they're
ones,
tighter
those
than
are
that.
awesome.
Yeah, those are very nice. Yeah, they're tighter than that. While she looks that up, under irrational to rational fears, I don't know. But like, I mean, in general, like people have like fear of clowns. I used to have that as a kid, but I mean, who doesn't?
I've never had that.
Clowns are creepy as fuck. And like spiders and like
bugs. Do you mean like this?
Yes, exactly those like knee length douchebag like basketball shorts
They're
with like
so
the silver
gross.
bottom,
like
the silver strip. Yes,
they feel
those
so gross.
Ones. Ugh. Exactly those.
Maybe we're just like texture people.
Very much so.
Because
when I go shopping,
same,
I have to touch
I was
everything.
just gonna say that when I go thrift shopping, that's why I love thrift shopping.
Every single
because
thing.
I'm like I have to touch every single thing.
100%.
Like 100%.
Other irrational fears, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't have any like big fears like arachnophobia, like claustrophobia or whatever.
Clearly I'm not scared of spiders. I had like that spider nest in my house.
And you fucking grabbed it.
And I like kept the mom and like some of her babies and literally just like
that's insane.
Killed the rest with my finger. They were like tiny.
Psychotic. And I mean I'm scared of spiders, but like big spiders or anything like a lot of people are, but that's not like
I am scared of snakes, but not to like I don't know.
Like if somebody had a fake snake, you wouldn't be like shitting your pants.
And
that's what like the irrational fear of like snakes is.
And I can't like I can watch like snake videos on YouTube.
Snakes
Sometimes I actually do like watching those, like feeding my anaconda or whatever.
Oh, God,
they eat like rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes against like a lot of like videos, like bylaws or whatever. Yeah. Like you can't post that because it's like rabbits are pets.
Yeah. So anyway, I like watching like snake videos and stuff. It doesn't gross me out like that. But like the guy that I was telling you about that like was on like Xanax and Coke and like
the guy who invited you into his garage.
Yeah, to do a
bump. Yeah, he had that like animal.
Yeah, the animal, the python.
Yeah, sure. That wouldn't creep me out as much. If somebody had a tarantula in their house in a tank, that would make my skin crawl. Like I don't like going to that section in the zoo.
Oh, I do.
And that could be like a minor level of arachnophobia, but like I panic when there's like a moth in my house because I hate bugs and moths. My 5th grade teacher, she fell asleep and she woke up and it sounded like thunder. There was a moth inside of her ear.
My grandpa had that happen to him twice.
Yeah, and like moths always want to touch you. Bugs always want to fly into your face, and I hate that. Like I hate gnats.
We've been having a gnat problem at work really bad.
Yes, it's super annoying because everyone wants to keep plants and shit, and they don't want to spray the fucking herbicide in it.
No.
I hate bugs in general, but like I don't like going to that section in the zoo, and if somebody had like a spider, an arachnid in their house in a tank, I will not go near it. And if you take it out of your cage, if you totally take it out of that tank, I will leave your house. Like I don't like that. And I also used to not like, I didn't like going to seafood places because people would order crab or lobster and they look like spiders, like their legs look like spiders, and my sisters would torment me with that.
Yeah.
We also we made my sister Rachel, shout out Rachel, I'm talking about it. Me and my oldest sister, she's our middle sister, Rachel, me and my oldest sister, Nicole, gave her an irrational fear of grasshoppers.
Oh, I hate grasshoppers.
So grasshoppers are creepy. They fly locusts. They so jump gross. And stuff. And they're I don't like crickets either. And they're like everywhere. But we would like catch them and like throw them at her.
Ew, that's
We were children. We developed this fear, yes. But then like it got so bad, we would be able to be like, we'd be sitting in the living room watching cartoons or whatever, and we'd just clap our hands together and chase her around because she had an irrational fear of it. Like we'd go and she would cry and run away. So we gave her this fear, and it's still to this day.
Oh, poor thing.
I know, right? Like if I went into her car and like had my hands together, she probably would start crying.
She'd be like, "What is in your hands?"
She'd be like, "What the fuck? Get out!" Like she would be freaking out. So we gave her that irrational fear. So shout out to being kids.
Oh, that's horrible.
But what else are siblings for?
My sister and my brother would just like chase me around the house with a lighter.
I chased my sister around the house with a knife.
Yeah, they did that too.
We stabbed her.
And then,
in the hand. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't think I have any, like, big ones, like snakes, arachnids, claustrophobia.
Snakes don't bother me
clowns,
until they're,
heights.
out and about on their own.
Like, if you looked around and there was a snake. But then that becomes rational. Because you are in danger.
Yeah.
But irrational fear...
Like, if you were holding a snake right now, I would be, like, uncomfortable. But I'd be like, oh, whatever. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, but if like, it was, if it was a king cobra in the middle of the Amazon rainforest,
well,
terrified.
that would be scary. No.
Yeah.
But, like, a ball python, which is, like, most commonly what people have as house pets for like, snake-wise. Yeah. So, like, if you were holding it and, like, loving on it, whatever, went and put it back up, fine. I have no issue whatsoever.
Right.
But the minute that you put it down on your bed and it
could
starts...
strike...
No,
but like
pythons don't do that.
I don't know. I'm not a fucking snake expert.
Ball pythons are the ones that like wrap around.
They're the ones
hands.
that have like the mouth.
What?
Like, cause like there was like a thing on like Instagram where it was like venomous snakes have like the slits and they have a certain shaped mouth, and ball pythons have like the other mouth that looks like dogs. That's what it told me. It was like, if your snake looks mean and has slits in its eyes, it's venomous, but it has round pupils and has like a dog's mouth where it like has the lips. It's okay.
Yeah.
So that's what, go on.
Anyways.
But as it's slithering around.
That's when they start slithering around, and if it like came off the bed and got on the floor and stuff, and like, they can crawl. Yeah. They can like inch their way up stuff.
And like spiral
up
it. Yeah.
Yes. When they start like going on surfaces,
when they're free
and not being held, that's when I'm like, like,
that's an irrational fear because it's not going to kill you and it's not venomous.
Because ball pythons, they like, even if they bite you, they're like this, and then
little chomp.
Then they just like let go.
Interesting.
Like they're not venomous. Like they're not mean. Terrifying. That's why a lot of people have them as pets, because like
there's no risk to death.
There's no like, and they get like maybe like that big max.
Oh my god.
And like they just like wrap around and they do their own thing, and they're really like low maintenance and stuff, and they just eat like little mice, and like that's like the most common snake
like
pet.
A constrictor. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think I know people who are like terrified or like they have irrational fear of like cows.
Oh, I love cows.
I know, me too, but
they're like big, dumb dogs with long
basically,
eyelashes.
And when they're fuzzy,
they're
super cute. But like the couple people I've talked to about like their irrational fears with cows is that like if they get hit by a semi, they don't die, and that's what creeps them out. Like they'll die, but like sometimes they don't because they're such a big being.
Yeah, they weigh like a ton.
Yeah, so like if they get hit by a car, your car's destroyed, and they're probably not. I don't know. That's just what they told me, is that they don't like die easily, which is weird.
Do you know how they kill cows for slaughtering?
Yeah, like the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that with like sheep and pigs. They have like a piston thing and it goes poof, right in the skull.
Have you seen the movie No Country for Old Men?
I fell asleep, so no.
Oh, well, that's my man's favorite movie, and so I watch it with him. And you haven't even seen it. What are you going to talk about?
It's just like a dude's movie.
It is. It is.
Exactly.
I'll give it to
like
you.
The Green Mile.
I love that movie.
Exactly. Moving on.
Anyway, so like in that movie, it's like an air compressor like this tall.
Oh,
like kind of like a big oxygen tank is what
Okay.
it looks like. And then you just turn it on so the pressure's releasing and it's like got a hose and it's like this long.
Yeah.
And then you just like hold it and then it's just like a thing. Like there's a little bar inside
rod,
that casing and then it's just like and then it just like goes through your brain and that's it. And
That's
it looks
a lot.
like
That was like in the first movie, The It. Like It.
I haven't seen it.
Wow. But yeah, that's the reference for everyone else who keeps up with movies. It was like a big thing in the beginning.
Yeah, anyways. So yeah, it's just like this like rod, this like pressurized rod.
Mm-hmm.
And it like once it's done, it looks like a gunshot wound, but it's like so quick, you just put it to your head and it's like
Interesting.
literally, it's so quick. It's like,
That's terrifying.
what are you doing?
I just heard a knock. It's fine, everybody. Irrational fear coming in. I heard a knock. But I don't think I have anything else. I don't think I have any other irrational fears.
I don't think so either.
Any common day fears? I have the fear of getting murdered all the time.
All the time.
Of course, because you don't know how scary
I'm like
people
afraid someone's under my car and gonna slip my Achilles tendon.
Oh, 100%.
All the time.
Right?
I have to
Foot
watch...
can't dangle off the bed, for sure.
I have to watch my garage door close all the way before I leave. And I close it before I get out of my car when I'm in there. Like I use the remote to shut it behind me, and then I shut my car.
So somebody can slip underneath. You have the
Exact-
car as protection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then those like things. But that's also like part of being a girl.
Right. When I first moved into like my first apartment outside of a house, I was on edge a lot because it's just noise. Mm-hmm. You just hear like little noises like creaking or like other people moving in their apartments and stuff. I was just on edge a lot for like the first like week.
Yeah.
But still, like, just because it's like when you're in a house, you know, like you can tell who's making the noise because you've been living with these people forever. But in your apartment, you just hear crazy noises. So like that puts me on edge whenever I watch like horror movies sometimes and I'm like chilling alone and I just hear like fucking noises. That creeps me the fuck out.
Yeah, same. Anyway.
Welcome to our fears. If you guys have any irrational fears, put it in the fucking comments below. We can talk about it. We can be your psychotherapist, help you get through it.
That's funny.
But like, I don't think nothing's too crazy, and I feel like a lot of people get over their fears a lot because like it's not so much like irrational fears, but like being like scared of spiders and you like maybe not outgrow it. That was the ice. That was creepy. But like you just kind of outgrow it. Maybe go to therapy and you figure it out. But some people go into like their adulthood with like fears of clowns and they literally cannot hold it in. But I mean, like it cultured like a whole fucking generation of being scared of clowns.
Yeah, so kind of like
oh, I have an irrational fear of little girls. Like The Ring, Grudge, Ju-on is the original Grudge. Like if like whenever I went to like horror, like haunted houses or whatever, if there's like a girl in like a white dress with long black hair, I would be scared. I used to be irrational, right? I used to be irrational fear of the garage, the basement, and anything dark because that's where The Ring and the Grudge live. Like scared the shit out of me and stuff like that. I remember, this will be the last story. I remember leaving my bathroom in the middle of the night when I lived with my parents and the vacuum cleaner was right outside of the door.
It looks like a person.
No, that wasn't it. And like it was the middle of the night. I was super sleepy. I was keeping my eyes closed so I can go back to bed. And like I leave the bathroom and I hit the vacuum cleaner and I can feel it just hit my chest. And I was like, it's shorter than me. And I freeze. I cold chills. My nerves got tight. And I was like, this is the Grudge. Like, it's the fucking Ring right in front of me. And I freeze, it hits me. And I fucking, like, my fucking heart drops. And then I kick it over because I realize it's the vacuum because my, like, eyes clear and I can see in the dark.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
Ew.
And it was the vacuum. But yeah. thanks for being with us as we talk about our irrational fears for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect timing. My sister just pulled up.
We went on a couple tangents, as always.
Yes, but that's a part of our brand now. We go on our tangents, we come back, we go on our tangents.
Do what I fucking want.
Exactly. It's your fucking life. We're not doing ASMR. I'm cutting that.
I want to do an ASMR.
We did the
bad.
ASMR. We're not doing 45 minutes
Do you
of
think you
full
can hear
ASMR.
my jaw pop? Hang on.
Oh my god. I can't hear it. We'll see it. I'll check it in editing. But as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Of course, share it with a sister.
Yeah. Share it with a sister. Our new catchphrase.
Share it with a sister. Share it with a brother. Tell your coworkers.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
Hang on 1 second. You know what I just thought of? What is this?
Oh my god, the James Charles thing. Bring me a little water now. When he's on the knees and everyone's quiet around him. Give us a like and comment if you know what that means.
Yeah,
it'll be our inside joke.
Please do. If you made it this far, seriously, if you know what that video is, leave a comment because that's hilarious.
You're part of our crew.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.